Metaphor ReFantazio has several beautifully written characters in the main party, and you could argue any of them to be your favorite and I'd be like, yup, that's totally valid, 2 thumbs up from me. But there's one character that has lived rent-free in the back of my mind since playing the game, and that is the priestess Eupha. I'm not alone in this either, because she won the popularity poll for the game in the West, so what makes her so lovable? If you ask me, I think it's a combination of a couple things, namely her contributing to the themes of the game perfectly alongside adding a cute and fun dynamic to the party. You know, if you really think about it, she's kind of like the Fuka of this game, and y'all know I'm a teeny tiny Fuka fan, just a little bit. But this is a metaphor video, so let's stay on track. In today's video, I'd like to break down Eupha as a character by explaining her character arc throughout the game, the lore regarding the Mustari tribe, and the Virga Islands. There will be some slight spoilers regarding her character in third major area, but I'll keep things as simple as I can to avoid going beyond that for those who haven't played the game yet. And if you are interested in playing, then check out the link at the top of the description. With that said, let's get started. I think the best place to start for the star of our show here is to give some insight into the Mustari tribe she comes from. The Mustari and the Kingdom of Ukrainia are distinct in both their faith and appearance. They believe in a different god than the followers of Sanctism believe in, so they're seen as pagans by much of Ukrainia. As a result, they tend to stay in their own homeland, that being the Virga Islands. The Mustari, for better or worse, after isolating themselves to this island and being denounced as pagans by the greater kingdom, have a narrow view of the world. Many of them fear stepping into the unknown and would rather stay in their comfort zone. This is why upon the party's arrival to the islands, they are captured as prisoners. Realistically speaking, this is an understandable stance for the Mustari to have, but as shown throughout the game, not all Mustari want to reside in the islands. You can see as early as Grand Trod that there are Mustari that are willing to speak to other tribes and reside in other landmarks, which you could see as some subtle foreshadowing for our priestess here, but let's keep the focus on the Mustari for now. The unique thing about the Mustari themselves is their third eye, which aside from making them look awesome like Tian Shinhan or something, it plays an important role. Most people cannot perceive Magla at all, and if they can, it's limited, but the third eye of the Mustari allows them to see it clearly depending on the individual. Eupha, for instance, as the priestess, has the ability to perceive Magla to a greater degree than even fairies, which is very important for the story going forward. Also unrelated, but a fun fact about the third eye is that it cannot move easily on its own, so if you ever see Eupha move it, then that's pretty impressive. Now that we have some insight into the Mustari tribe as a whole alongside that fun fact, we can go into Eupha as a character since that's what we're all here for. Eupha, as I've mentioned several times, is the priestess of the Virga Islands, and the priestess has a very unique role to fulfill. The faith of the islands revolves around a certain belief that when disaster strikes, it is a result of the dragon god's rage. The island has been seeing misfortune, like disease in the livestock, which has weakened their food supply. Since the priestess is the only one who can directly communicate with the dragon god, it is believed that the role of the priestess is to act as a sacrifice to satiate the dragon god's rage. Eupha fully accepts her role as the priestess and resolves to sacrifice her life for the island, which is extremely admirable in a way. Edeni is the head of the Virga Islands and wants what is best for the people, but he doesn't want to see his sister throw her life away regardless of the circumstances, which is also understandable. Edeni at first plans to go along with it regardless, as he accompanies her to the Dragon Temple where the Dragon God resides, but falters in the final moments. Interestingly, he places his faith in the protagonist and his crew to save her. See, Edeni has explored the outside world after entering the tournament for the throne, so he doesn't have as much fear or anxiety when it comes to outsiders. He trusts that they won't defame their history or culture by both entering the Dragon Temple and saving Eupha, which is a great piece of development for what is a side character. The party, with Edeni's approval, enters the Dragon Temple with the objective to secure Dracodios and Eupha. Dracodios is the divine relic of the Virga Islands and is highly desirable by the mainlanders, which again emphasizes how much trust Edeni has in the party. Since she's not in any mood to abandon her duty, they make their way to the main altar where the Dragon God should be to see the truth for themselves. Something cool though is they show what I mentioned before about Eupha being able to sense and see Magla better than anyone else. She immediately knew the party had the power of archetypes, which is interesting. Also interesting is all of the lore regarding the temple and ritual, which will be important later, but we'll go ahead for now. The party alongside Eupha do eventually make it to the temple's altar where the dragon god resides, which becomes the most important moment for Eupha as a character. There most certainly was a dragon in the altar the whole time to Strohl's dismay.
Oh hell, there was a dragon after all!
But according to the saying, the priestess is meant to be the one who summons the dragon. It turns out the dragon god had been taken control of by a human, which is not good. The human's appearance also resembles that of a Mustari, which is no mere coincidence. Since they're face to face with a human-controlled dragon, they have no choice but to fight it. But uncharacteristically, Eupha falters, which I mean is very understandable considering everything she believes in has just been flipped upside down. She thought sacrificing herself would save everyone, but it turns out the source of the island's hardships had been a human this whole time. She had so strongly resolved to sacrifice herself that she didn't even know how to live beyond that purpose, so coming face to face with this reality is a total shell shock. Without the party's aid, she would have made a quite frankly meaningless sacrifice, which isn't to say it wasn't in good intentions, the opposite in fact. Like I said, all Eupha ever wanted was to help the island and her people, so with this mindset still intact and some words of encouragement from Hulkenburg, she awakens to her own heroic embodiment, the Summoner.
But still, see the truth. Is this your god? A god who demands martyrs, who desires tragedy. Is that truly a god worthy of your devotion and faith? Have you come here only to be saved? Or will you find purpose beyond death, to stand and fight as a savior?
I want to! I love that island. I love the smell of its verdant flora. But what I love more than anything is its people. Their words may be coarse, but their hearts are true. I must save them. Please! If I cannot save them in death, then I swear I'll protect them with my life!
Beyond the Summoner looking totally awesome, it's also the most proficient in magic when compared to all other archetypes, which is very fitting for Eupha considering that's her whole thing as the priestess. With her newfound power, she and the others take the dragon god down and save the island from calamity. Or so they thought. Another human makes their appearance in the center of the island, so everyone books it down there to protect the Mustari from getting hurt. The people of the island are shocked and confused as to why the ritual wasn't carried out, but little do they know that Eupha is about to perform the real ritual, the one where the priestess defends the island with the power of Dracodios. They defeat the human quite handily. Actually, they didn't struggle at all, which is pretty impressive, and they share the true meaning of the ritual with the people. With the strength of Eupha's heart and the helping hand of the party, they lead the Mustari and Virga Islands into a better place for the future. I truly love her moment in the story because she has such a pure heart. Whether it's before or after her awakening and realization of the ritual, she's so lovable, innocent, brave, heroic, all that. I was so invested in her as a character and the payoff was more than rewarding. Beyond the main story, her bond ranks also demonstrate her growth in the themes of the game superbly. After the main story moments that we've gone over, she has a great desire to explore the outside world and learn more about it since she's been sheltered in the Virga Islands her whole life. Before that though, she at Denny's request undergoes a trial to prove her strength, and that strength will give her the power to face her future head on. This trial is the Trial of Malnova located in the Land of Ceremony. The monsters there are strong in their own right, but the final trial is a human. Since they'd already handily defeated a human and literal dragon not too long before, they defeated it fairly smoothly as well. This trial gives Eupha a new perspective on her life and experiences, deeming everything as a trial, which shows her true strength. Facing her fears and anxiety of being an offering while making friends to help her along the way is her strength, which I think is beautiful to see her finally realize it. This gives her the courage to step into the unknown and explore the outside world, not before giving the protagonist a handshake, which has a very different meaning for the Mustari than most. It's usually meant for more intimate occasions, but shaking the protag's hand in the way others do is yet an example of her willingness to broaden her horizons. In her bond rank 2, she does what we've all been waiting for and travels to Brilhaven to explore other cultures. Of course it's tough at first, but no one said it would be easy. Immediately she's interested in learning more about the Sanctus Church, and you start seeing interactions between Eupha and a sanctor named Hyperic. You learn about the religion of Sanctism, their beliefs, and all that good jazz, which is not only good world building, but it's also interesting to see how someone like Eupha would view it. Eupha's already seen the ramifications of blind faith and what that can lead to, so she's accepting of the religion and the beliefs, but this leads to a conflict later in the bond. As Eupha and this Hyperic fella talk and exchange beliefs over the coming bond ranks, something starts seeming amiss. A side character in the bond named Ovi has a sick mom, and the way Hyperic tries to remedy it is through prayer alone, which should sound familiar considering the Mustari and Eupha herself basically did the exact same thing with the Dragon God. Eventually it's revealed that Hyperic takes some sick people of the church and tries to sacrifice them because their illness is quote-unquote a punishment from God, and also plans to kill himself as punishment. This all sounds very familiar, doesn't it? Almost identical with Eupha's own character arc, and now she gets to see it from an outside lens. This is extremely interesting, and I find it to be one of the most intriguing bonds for that reason. They are forced to confront Hyperic, which allows them to save the sick people that were initially going to be sacrificed. In her bond rank 7, the Sanctus churchgoers are initially angry at her and think she is lying about the things she told them about Hyperic, but she states, "Your devotion was real, so was Sanctor Hyperic's desire to save you, I believe. The spirit behind the prayers, the belief in something higher, I do think it helped save you. I simply say that such belief in God's salvation is no reason to abstain from saving yourself, which helps the people of the church view things in a different light while being able to retain their own beliefs." I think it's beautiful to see different tribes and people of different faiths interact in a peaceful way. The whole point of Eupha's character arc and bond is that we can come together, share our teachings and beliefs, and take it as you will. There are many different ways to view the world or your religious beliefs while respecting the beliefs of others, and having it come from the priestess of the Virga Islands in Mustari is powerful considering they had sheltered themselves for so long. And again, her devotion to her faith wasn't totally misplaced or misguided even at the start, but her character and bond shows that it's never too late to open your mind to other people's ideals, and even if you don't see face to face on certain things, that's okay. No one has to believe in the same things, but we can all thrive and grow together. In general, that's why I think Eupha demonstrates the idea of metaphor so well. The main theme of metaphor is that your allies and experiences can be your strength, as well as the idea that you have a right to believe in what you want to believe in, and Eupha exemplifies these themes perfectly. She broadens her horizons to the world around her, she at all points wants to help people, all the while never looking down on people for believing in what they wish to believe in. Even during her bond when the Sanctus Church were angry at her, she didn't get angry back, but felt understanding of the situation and helped them in her own way. She's always trying to help and doesn't have a single hateful bone in her entire body. I mean, hell, even during one of the expeditions, she wants to scream but doesn't know how to because she just doesn't have that hate in her, which is super cute. I think I've made my love for Eupha clear now, and I hope you found a deeper appreciation for her as well. If you enjoyed the video, consider dropping a like and a sub, I would greatly appreciate it, and if you'd like to play Metaphor, check out the link at the top of the description, and I will see you in the next video. Oh wait, hold on. How could I forget about the faithful cookie for y'all who made it to the end? Here you go, homies. I would never leave y'all hanging. I'm sorry about that. Anyway, it's been your boy Yandere Gogeta, and I will see you in the next video. Peace out, everybody, and have a great day.